Um, it was surreal in the sense that that legit was my dream match in Australia. Somewhere, but I really got to look for it one day. I think I've said this before too somewhere. I legit wrote that down as my goal in Australian wrestling. That was what I was striving for. I wanted to wrestle Adam Brooks in the Thornbury Theatre for the MCW World Championship. I wrote that down when I was breaking into wrestling. So in that sense, it was surreal. I was really excited for it. But I would be lying if I said I didn't feel a lot of pressure going into that one. I was training like a maniac. I was doing all kinds of stuff uh, to train my body, but also my mind to just mentally be ready for that. Because, like I said before, the journey from winning the Ballroom Brawl to all of a sudden you're a singles wrestler to all of a sudden you're wrestling for the title in the biggest match of your life. That all happened really, really quick. And there had to be a mental switch in there to do that and be successful at that.
I mean, like, mentioned the mental switch and stuff like that. Like, what were some of the things that you were going through there? Like, you said it was like stressful because it was like, on your mind going in there. But were you doubting your ability? Were you thinking you were going to go, like, you may go in there and shit the bed? Like, what was it that was causing you that sort of, mistrust or misthought in your mind?
Yeah, all of the above. Uh, I've heard something called like imposter syndrome. I don't know if it was to a full extent, but I was definitely doubting. Like, I had that thought in my mind of, you know, how humiliating it would be to go in there in that match and shit the bed and not absolutely nail it. I wanted it to be perfect. Um, and walking out of it, I felt it pretty much was. I was so happy with that match. It was. I got actually very emotional after it in the back. For a number of reasons, not just for winning, such a big championship. It was for a number of reasons. Some that only very few people around me would even know. Uh, but I heard something recently like the only thing that separates the coward and the hero is the way they react to the fear. They both feel the same fear, but one cowers and one uses that fear to drive them. And I definitely was using that image in my head of the terrible match, letting everyone around me down. I was using that to drive me. So, uh, in saying that, I was doing a lot of um, meditation, a lot of things that was challenging my mind so I could stay calm in uncomfortable situations because I knew it was most likely going to be, a really long match and a style of match I haven't really done much as a singles guy. I've barely done any singles matches, and this was going to be long, and this was going to be a really, main event style match. So I knew I was, no matter how hard I train, I'm going to get tired, and I was trying to prepare my mind to stay calm when that does happen and keep going. I know I've got the wheels to keep going. I just need to stay calm and stay sharp.
Have you seen people in the past, like, go into situations like that and they do get exhausted and tired and just like, where do they go from there? Like, do some people just sort of, they get that level of exhaustion in their body that they just go, fuck it, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I'm done.
Well, it's not even so much, okay, I'm done. Like, I was never going to do that. I was never going to be in the ring and go, oh, I'm done. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted to get to that 35, 40-minute mark and still move as well as I was at the start of the match. I felt I achieved that other than the injury, but in saying that, all that mental preparation worked because who was going to predict that in the first 5 minutes of the match I was going to absolutely destroy my foot and barely be able to walk the rest of the match? If I genuinely feel if I hadn't done all that mental prep, I wouldn't have been able to do that beforehand. I'm not like saying I'm the toughest guy in the world or anything, but that was very much a situation where I was panicking for a second there. As soon as it happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, like, cause you broke the foot, right?
Yeah, I did a bunch of shit to it. I tore a bunch of ligaments, fractures, a break. I did the works, and it was on a dive right at the start of the match. So I had to do the rest of the match like that.
I mean, like in that situation, was it like adrenaline kicks in and do you not notice it straight away? Like, is it something like once things start slowing down, you're like, oh shit, that doesn't feel right?
It's funny because like I always hear people say, "Oh, when my adrenaline's going, I don't feel anything." Blah blah blah. I knew I did it. I was uh, I was in a lot of pain, and actually, if anyone wants to go back and watch the match, after I do the dive at the start of the match, throw him back in the ring. I get in the ring. I can barely walk for a solid like 3 minutes. Um, but in saying that,
Jeez.
it got to a point where I kind of mentally got back on track and just forgot about it. But it was definitely hurting. I could feel it.
But how do you get back on track mentally? Like, do you just try and block that out that like your foot's completely fucked? How do you like block that out though?
I had to. Yeah, I had to. I just had to. There's no way out. Like you said before, like the only other option is, all right, cool, I'm done. Tell the ref it's done. I can't continue. And then what? I let down. I let down my family, my friends. I let down anyone who's ever given me a shot in wrestling. I let down MCW. I let down um, Brooksy, who wanted to go out there and tear the house down. When you weigh it up in that minute, man, like you just get
Yeah.
back on track and do what you got to do.
Yeah. But dude, I got to take my hat off to you, man. Broken foot going in there and putting on the match that you guys did was it was a phenomenal match. Great storytelling,
Thank you.
great, match in itself. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Yourself coming out of that, like, did you have to go get surgery on the foot? Like, what was the recovery like?
Nah, I didn't have to get surgery or anything. I had to stay in a moon boot, and I was on crutches too. I had to uh, I had to take weight off my foot for. They said a much shorter time than it ended up being, and that's why at the next show when I come out on a moon boot, I said I was going to be. Doesn't matter if I'm in a moon boot, blah blah blah. Next show I'll be wrestling. I thought I was going to be okay by then to wrestle Bonza. And as it got closer to the date, I quickly realized uh, I jumped the gun a little bit, and maybe this was going to take a while longer than I thought. I got through it, and I've continued ever since, and it's slowly, progressively gotten better. But it's been a lot longer of a process than I thought. I've only been able to start going for runs again within the last like month, and that happened. When was the match with Brooksy? That was the start of the year.